Millions of years ago, a meteorite made of vibranium, the strongest substance in the universe, struck the continent of Africa.
Hey, welcome back, ScreenCrush. I'm Ryan Airy. Let's talk about Vibranium. It's not only the strongest metal on Earth, it was also the key to the creation of Earth's most powerful civilization, Wakanda. Namor's people have Vibranium as well, but they are different. The metal turned them into superhumans, and Namor is now one of the most powerful people on the planet.
The most versatile substance on the planet. And they used it to make a frisbee. They scratched the surface and never think to look within.
Now, the fact that Vibranium is giving people powers is very interesting. It kind of seems like someone in space keeps sending stuff to Earth that turns humans into super beings. Infinity Stones, the 10 rings, the bangle, and now Vibranium. That starts to feel like a pattern. And don't forget, there was a third important meteor that hit Earth, the one that was sent by the Celestials. Although, was it really a third meteor, or could it have been the same one that gave Namor's people Vibranium? And if that's true, this theory might explain so many things about the real purpose of Vibranium and the origins of the entire multiverse. And we can't talk about the multiverse without mentioning Kang, and there might be a surprising connection between Kang, Vibranium, and the Celestials that will ultimately lead into Avengers: Secret Wars. Hey, why are you sniffing so loud? What's going on?
Something in here smells amazing.
It's me.
Oh, it's not you. You never smell this good.
I'm telling you, it's me. It's my new soap.
But you always use that like nasty, unnatural chemical soap and deodorant.
Not anymore. I switched to all-natural products formulated for men, made by Dr. Squatch. They're the sponsor of this video. See, I never even thought about why it's important for a soap to have natural ingredients, but think about it. These are the products that keep you clean, and it makes sense that you wouldn't want them to be filled with harmful chemicals. Every ingredient in a Dr. Squatch product is at least 98% natural in origin. So, for instance, here's a few ingredients in their coconut castaway. We have olive oil, coconut oil, shea butter, and coconut milk.
Yes. I'm getting all that, but also hints of Alaskan glacier mineral clay.
Oh my gosh, Doug, yeah, that's right. That's actually one of my favorite soaps of theirs, which I highly recommend to all of you, called Fresh Falls. And the smells are so much more pleasant because they're made from natural sources. So compare all of that to the labels of most brands, which are filled with synthetic chemicals. So Dr. Squatch has a wide variety of natural products. They have soaps, hair care, deodorant, and more. And I'm telling you, when you shower with these soaps, you can just feel the difference. For instance, this conditioner is called Cool Citrus, and it contains shea butter, avocado oil, and menthol. It smells so good. I really wish that you guys were here so you could smell this.
Yeah, and you're allowed to eat it.
No, don't do that. Do not eat the soap. But Dr. Squatch does offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee. If you try the soap and it's not for you, you get your money back. So, if you want to try out Dr. Squatch and support our channel, we have a special code for you. New customers can get 20% off on orders of $20 or more. Use my code DSQScreenCrush and click the link in the description below. Now, back to Kang's plan. But first, let me explain the possible connection between Vibranium and the Celestials. That is going to clarify what Kang is planning. So about 2.5 million years ago, a meteor hit Africa and brought Vibranium to the Earth. From that meteor, Wakanda was born, and they became the most advanced civilization on the planet. Now, for a long time, everyone assumed that Wakanda was the only source of Vibranium on the planet, but
There is another.
about 500 years ago, Namor's people found a flower-shaped Vibranium ore in the Yucatan Peninsula, which is in Mexico. And that's also where there's a crater from the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs millions of years ago. The Vibranium must have arrived there from a different meteor than the one that hit Africa. The fact that two Vibranium meteors hit Earth twice in two different locations, creating two powerful societies, that can't be a coincidence.
Coincidence? I think not!
And this brings us to the third meteor, the one that delivered Tiamat's celestial seed. Now, in case you forgot, the Celestials are born from seeds that grow inside of planets' cores. The seeds arrive on worlds with meteors, which is how Vibranium arrived on Earth. In fact, the Celestials have a bit of a habit of delivering stuff with meteors. The Deviants were also sent to worlds in meteor showers.
They're all meat eaters. Meteor. Take it easy.
The seed might have been a different meteor from the other two, or more likely, it's the same one that hit the Yucatan Peninsula. Etenals never confirmed where the meteor hit. If that's true, then it means that Tiamat's seed contained Vibranium, meaning that the Celestials are made from Vibranium.
The size, the material, it all fits.
The MCU's rendition of the Celestials takes a lot of inspiration from the Earth X story in the comics. That alternate version of the Celestials reproduced by impregnating habitable worlds with their seeds.
Ew, that's gross.
Yes, it's all sorts of messed up, but this is the same process that the MCU Celestials use. And here's the thing, the heart of what this theory is all about. The Celestials of Earth X are made of...
Drum roll, please. Can anybody guess?
Vibranium. The Celestials inject the embryo worlds with vibranium, and as the Celestial baby grows, it's encased in a shell around the Celestials, creating that cosmic armor. But here's the thing, the Wakandan meteor arrived on Earth about 2.5 million years ago. The asteroid that killed the dinosaurs hit around 66 million years ago. That's a huge time gap between them, so here's how the timetable might work.
Release the meteor!
66 million years ago, the Celestials send the Celestial Seed. It hit the Yucatan Peninsula, killing the dinosaurs and paving the way for humanity. The Celestial Seed requires large populations of intelligent beings so it can grow. The Celestials killed the dinosaurs to make way for the human race. I guess from the cosmic god's perspective, those clever girls weren't clever enough.
Clever girl.
Then, around 2.5 million years ago, the Celestials send another meteor, the one that hits Africa. Early humans, who were called Homo erectus, emerged about 2 million years ago. So that meteor might have actually jump-started the human race. But there might also have been some time travel involved by a certain conqueror. We're going to get to that in just a bit.
So how does this connect to the multiversal stuff?
Well, to explain this, we need to do a little detour to the Infinity Stones, and then come back and explain how they tie into Vibranium. And I promise it'll all make sense and connect to Kang very soon.
Alright, explain away, wise person.
Sure. Okay, so, according to the Eternals, the Celestials created the universe, and they existed in the beginning before the dawn of creation. Now, of course, everything Ereshkigal said is in doubt, but for the sake of this video, let's assume that it's the case. In the comics, the Celestials actually come from the very first universe in existence. That's the universe that predates the entire multiverse. What's interesting is that the Infinity Stones also originate from that first universe that the Celestials come from. Now, this might also be the case in the MCU. The Infinity Stones were created with the Big Bang.
Before creation itself, there were 6 singularities.
Now, we don't really know what those 6 singularities actually were, but they might have been previous realities that existed before the current universe or even before the multiverse. The first time we heard this tale was in Guardians of the Galaxy, which was also the first time we saw the Celestials. On top of that, we saw a Celestial using the Power Stone to wipe out a whole civilization. Now, we have theorized in the past that there is a connection between the Celestials and the Stones. They might have created them, and they might be made from the same cosmic energy. After all, the Celestial Seed does look a lot like an Infinity Stone.
You just blew my mind.
Another interesting connection between the Vibranium and the Infinity Stones is Ultron. He was given life by the Mind Stone. When Ultron went all Skynet, he didn't plan to use nukes. He wanted to destroy the world with a big rock made of Vibranium.
I think a lot about meteors, the purity of them. Boom, the end. Start again.
Which is the same as sending a Vibranium meteor to Earth. It wasn't just about destroying the world. Ultron's intention was to cleanse the planet from life to make way for a new kind of life. It's as if Ultron is replicating the Celestials killing the dinosaurs. Remember, the Celestials did use the Power Stone to exterminate other civilizations, so this might be a type of code that is embedded within the stones.
When the Earth starts to settle, God throws a stone at it.
Moreover, Ultron's first move was to create himself Vibranium body, which might also be the composition of the Celestials' bodies.
My CPU is a neural net processor, a learning computer, but Skynet presets the switch to read only when we are sent out alone.
So back to that first universe that the Celestials come from. The primordial reality shattered into pieces following a war. From those pieces, the very first iteration of the multiverse was created. It sounds very similar to the explanation of how the Infinity Stones were created.
Wait, first multiverse?
Yep, in the comics there were many cycles of the multiverse, about 8.
Isn't that like what the guy from Loki was talking about?
That's right. He Who Remains spoke about a multiversal war that happened eons ago and will start all over again in the future.
An infinite amount of B. Start another multiversal war.
And that will be the MCU's Secret Wars. So, if we accept that the Celestials existed long before the creation of the multiverse and that the Celestials are made of Vibranium, then that means that this metal originates from that same primordial reality. But here's the thing, if the Celestials are made from Vibranium and they always send it to other worlds, then that means that the metal should be far more common in the universe. Yet, that's not the case. It seems like Earth is the only place in the universe that has any Vibranium, meaning that humanity was never meant to find Vibranium. All the metal was supposed to only serve as Tiamat's armor.
So the Celestials made a mistake?
Or maybe someone else is involved, and that someone is Kang. It just makes so much sense for Kang to be a part of this. Not only is he the big bad of the multiverse saga, but he's also the Genghis Khan of time travel. He Who Remains spoke about the multiversal war that keeps happening. Reality is stuck in an endless loop. Kang is the one that always starts this war, and He Who Remains is always the one who ends it. But this time around, Kang found his gambit to break this loop and win the war. This version of Kang survived the previous cycle of the multiversal war. Just before the end of the war, Kang escaped escaped to the quantum realm, a reality that exists outside of time and space.
It means that you would enter a reality where all concepts of time and space become irrelevant.
And we actually made a video explaining the quantum realm's importance to the multiverse and how Kang is going to use it in the Kang War. What's so special about Vibranium is that it absorbs and redistributes energy. Whenever the Black Panther suit is hit by anything, it stores the kinetic energy until a moment of powerful release. By that logic, Kang can use the Vibranium to absorb quantum energy and redirect it to time travel and change his own past, something that wasn't possible before because of He Who Remains in the Sacred Timeline. But now the Sacred Timeline is branching off, Kang used the realm to interfere with the Celestials' plan. He changed the past and made sure that humans will find Vibranium. So with this one change in the past, Kang put Earth on a trajectory that will allow him to win the multiversal war. The key is Earth's superheroes. The meteor that hit Wakanda was all about technological superiority. His plan was for Wakanda to become the global superpower it is now, so they will create the technology that he can then use in the future.
They're running a temporal pincer movement.
Namor's people found the Vibranium from the second meteor, the one that hit the Yucatan Peninsula. The Talokan people didn't use the Vibranium to become a technological civilization like Wakanda. Instead, they consumed the Vibranium in liquid form, and that changed their physiology entirely, giving them blue skin, the ability to breathe underwater, and superhuman powers. Namor is unique among his people, having even greater powers, pointed ears, and wings on his ankles. He's different because his mother was pregnant when she consumed the Vibranium.
But Black Panther drinks Vibranium goo too.
That's right. Every Black Panther drinks liquid Vibranium that is made from the heart-shaped herb. That gives them superhuman abilities and a quick visit to the ancestral plane.
Well, so how come they're not blue too?
Well, because the Talokans found a different plant that was also fed by Vibranium that was underwater. Namor's people were dying from smallpox, so that sickness might have affected their transformation. That was Kang's plan, to create a race of people that will be the next step in human evolution.
Mutation. It is the key to our evolution.
But over the course of millions of years, some humans must have came into contact with Vibranium as well. The metal must have spread around the entire world, but not in high doses like in Wakanda. It's more likely tiny fragments that slipped into the oceans and the soil, and its radiation must have affected some humans. But only a few transformed into mutants like Namor. Most simply had the gene stored in their DNA, but it needed a special catalyst to be activated. And here is the connection to the cosmic artifacts. For example, Shang-Chi. He was able to activate the full power of the 10 rings thanks to his unique physiology. He's a hybrid. He has human DNA on his father's side and Tao Lo DNA on his mother's. So Shang might be one of the humans that carried the Vibranium mutant gene, and all it took was a unique artifact to trigger that gene. The same goes for Ms. Marvel. Her mutant gene was activated with the bangle.
Kamala, there's something different in your genes, like a mutation.
She is a mutant hybrid. Her DNA is part human and part clandestine. And remember, when the bangle was found, it was wrapped around a Kree hand.
Or maybe it could have been one of the Talokans.
Ooh, yeah, it could have been one of the Talokans. But it was probably a Kree, because Ms. Marvel is going to tie into the movie The Marvels. The 10 rings might also be from a cosmic origin, and we have previously theorized that the rings and the bangle were created by the Celestials, and that they are a version of the quantum bands from the comics. Powerful cosmic artifacts that use quantum energy originating from the quantum realm, the same place that Kang is now hiding in. And then there's Captain Marvel. Carol was exposed to the energy of the Space Stone, which gave her cosmic powers. But what if Carol survived the radiation of the stone, because she too has that dormant gene in her DNA? That might also be the case with Wanda to a certain extent. She already had some magic when she was young, but once she was exposed to the Mind Stone, she was able to use her powers at will. All of this is part of Kang's plan. He intends to use this superhuman gene to fight the war for him, because obviously these heroes will be key in the multiverse saga, same as the Vibranium from Talokan and Wakanda. So instead of fighting them like every other villain in the past, he's going to harness their heroism. So he gave them the tools and the powers with time travel, and that way they can be his pawns in this upcoming multiversal war.
In chess, the pawns go first.
And don't forget, Kang's biggest enemy in the multiversal war is his variants, so the best way to defeat them is an army of heroes. This way, both his variants and the Avengers will be too busy fighting each other, allowing Kang to win secret wars and take over. But even with all of his plans, the multiverse is still going to collapse, and Kang has the last ace in the hole. In the comics, Vibranium reacts in an interesting way to magic. When Vibranium is mixed with science and magic, it taps into the quantum forces, which basically make its power infinite. Meaning that if someone learns about the secrets of this connection, then they can tap into an infinite energy source.
Give me full power. But sir... Damn it! I said full power!
With Wakanda's technology and the magic of people like Doctor Strange and Wanda, he could achieve his plan, not to mention the quantum realm, which he's already using. And that's how we get Secret Wars. The multiverse will collapse, but Kang will create a new universe before everything ends. And then the Avengers will have to unite to stop Kang and restart the multiverse.
Yes, well, that's a very, very interesting theory.
That's a fun theory, but who knows what Marvel Studios is planning. Maybe we're overthinking it, or maybe we're onto something. I guess time's gonna tell. But let me know what you think down in the comments below or at me on Twitter. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe and smash that bell for alerts. For ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy.